Hi everyone, welcome to Tile and Cork. We are Amy and Josh, and we moved from Austin, Texas to Lisbon, Portugal back last year in 2024 with our 2 kids. And we are here sharing our experiences about moving abroad with you. So in today's video, we are going to talk about things we don't miss about the US.
That's right. We did a video about the things that we do miss.
Yeah, we even got a little bit of hate in the comments there, which is fine.
And love. I'm sure we got some love.
We did. We got some love too.
Let's
so
not concentrate on that.
If you haven't checked out that video yet, check it out because you might be curious about what we do miss about the U.S.
So now we're going to balance it out with the antithesis of things that we
do not miss
of the U.S. Stay tuned.
And as always, if this is the type of content you would like to see more of, make sure to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button on this video, and also if you have any comments, just post them in the comments, and we love seeing those. All right, so the first thing I do not miss about the US, and I think you don't either, is owning cars. In the US, we own 2 cars.
Oh, yeah. Just 2.
Yeah, just 2. Some people own more than that, but we each owned our own car. And, there's a lot of expense and responsibility that comes with owning a car.
And a lot of it's baked in, like the things that you don't even think about, tires or registration, we talk about gas a lot, but of course there's a lot more that goes into having a car,
Obviously,
insurance.
Obviously, the car payment is a huge one, and we didn't have car payments, but we were at the point where we probably would have had to buy.
Because we had really old cars.
Yeah.
And if we hadn't been moving here, we would have had to buy at least 1, if not 2 cars.
Which means, probably paying at least $1,000 a month in, car payments.
Car payments, insurance.
Yeah, and so thankfully,
car seats.
We moved here and got rid of our cars.
Helmets. I drive with a helmet.
Well, everyone should.
Everyone, yeah.
But yeah, so I don't miss having a car. I don't miss, worrying about cars and what can happen to them in terms, like getting in an accident or, having tree branches fall on your car.
We had flat tires all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like, there's always like some maintenance crew or construction or something.
And it can derail your day.
And we had...
maintenance. There were a lot of flat tires, and then you're having to deal with that. You're having to be like, okay, I have to take it to the shop, get this taken care of.
Right, driving in traffic.
Yeah,
being the stress of being late or something. That's one thing. We don't have cars here, and we moved to Lisbon for the specific reason that they have good public transit.
Yeah,
like any good place with good public transit, the people here will deny that it's good.
Right,
but it is ridiculous how great it is compared to where we used to live, where there were no buses.
Yeah.
You certainly, even getting an Uber was difficult. But once you stop driving and you take a bus or the subway or walk, when you get there, it's out of your hands. It's out of your hands. There's traffic you don't have to worry about. Even if you're sitting in it, you're not driving in it.
Yeah.
And so it takes the pressure off for sure.
Yeah, it's wonderful not to have to sit in that traffic and drive in that traffic.
And, the aggressive drivers and certainly our kids learned a lot of bad words from being in the back seat while we were driving, mostly from her. She's the one with the mouth. I know, you wouldn't think it. It's true. Tile's the one with the mouth.
But yeah, so we don't miss having a car, and we do not miss dealing with the driving in traffic. Now, obviously, this is something that is personal to us because there are a lot of people in Portugal and even in the Lisbon area that do own cars. But this is specific to our experience of not having a car here. And I think this is something we will continue for as long as possible of not having a car. Because
even this morning, when we walking to the bus or driving, just walking up our street, we can see there's certain days, and we don't know why, but the cars are backed up all along our street.
Not to have to deal with it.
And it is fun to see how we can walk faster than traffic. And that people are stuck in their cars.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing we do not miss about the United States is the very poor walkability of cities and towns there. Now, we just talked about how we love not having to have a car, and the reason you have to have a car most places in the US is places are not walkable. There are a few US cities that, have good public transportation and are more walkable. Of course, San Francisco, New York, DC, Chicago, like those are places where you can probably get by without a car depending on where you're living. But in places like Austin, where we are from, like it's very hard to get by in that city without having a car. Again, people do it. My brother doesn't have a car, but
But a Dallas is
oh my gosh,
it would be impossible.
Yeah,
even though there are buses and such.
Yeah, there's some public transit in cities like Dallas and Houston and stuff. But I mean, to get to where you need to go, a lot of the time you need a car.
In Austin itself, they don't have sidewalks everywhere.
Yeah, and they just end sometimes.
And so you see paths along through the grass that's along the side of the road. Sometimes the sidewalk will change from one side of the street to the other. Without a crosswalk.
Yeah, and if you are two able-bodied adults like Josh and I are, it might not be a big deal. But when we were walking with strollers, or we'd see people in wheelchairs or whatever on the streets, like it's difficult, especially when you have a stroller to be like, okay, now it's got to pick it up and head over to the other side of the street, and it's it can be difficult, and the walkability in the U.S. leaves a lot to be desired.
And because there's so many more pedestrians here, people in cars are more likely to look out for pedestrians.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So I mean, obviously,
you can tell it was a rarity where when we lived in Texas, it was a rarity for some people to see somebody walking, so they wouldn't even think to stop.
Right. Whereas here, you look like you're going to walk into the street, and the car stops immediately and waits for you to walk. And you don't wave the car on; you walk, because otherwise it becomes like a challenge of like waving somebody on in the car. Right. So like here, you just know you're going to walk because the car is stopping for you. So we do not miss the very poor walkability of most places in the US, because it is a car-centric culture and most places are built around owning a car and needing a car. So very much appreciate the walkability here in Portugal, and we walk most places, and if we can't walk or it's too far, we take the metro or a bus or whatever, and it's great.
We should buy a car though.
No. The next thing...
Sales tax.
It's a sales tax.
VAT.
VAT. So here in Portugal, we do have sales tax, VAT, but...
Value-added tax.
But it is already worked into the price of the item on the shelf. So I don't miss that about the U.S. In the U.S., it's kind of a guessing game. If you want to know how much you're going to pay, you're doing math in your head, which is fine, but why not just?
But also, sales tax changes from area to area.
True, yeah.
From town to town, you don't know what it's going to be. Same with even gas. But when you see the price that's presented to you, that's it.
Yeah.
And the benefit of that is, you get to the register and it may be exactly €10.
Yeah, depending on what you're buying. Like if you see something on the shelf and the price is €10, you can pull out a €10 bill.
You get 7 things and they add up to exactly €10 because they round up a lot of the or round down. I don't know, but it's even, and so of course the American in me thinks they just made up that number.
Right. Right.
That's not how much it costs. They just made up that number.
But just yesterday, I went to the grocery store, and what I picked up was €1.99. And so I pulled out 2 €1 coins, paid with that, got a cent back, and yeah, I knew exactly what the price was going to be. And that's so nice. And it still is sometimes a nice surprise for me, because when we first moved here, like it was always surprising that our total was much less than I thought it was going to be, because I'm just so used to tax being, added to the final purchase price. And so it is nice that it's already included.
And when you go to a restaurant, you add on top of that the fact that, tipping is kind of frowned upon here. People don't want you to bring the tipping culture here.
Yeah, not the large tipping culture from America. You're not tipping like 20%. Like you might be tipping like €1, if that. €1 or 2. Or rounding up.
So you look at your menu items, and that's pretty much what you're going to pay.
Yeah.
There's no guessing of like, all of a sudden $12 sounds expensive because you have tax and then tip on top of that, and it's 20. So
yeah, that's one thing I do not miss about the U.S. is kind of the guessing game on what your final price that you're paying is going to be. Okay. This might, I don't know if Josh agrees with this one, but one thing I do not agree with, or I don't miss about the US is the air conditioning and heating just being blasted. It always felt like such a waste of energy, because in the summer they blast the AC everywhere, and in the winter they seem to blast the heat everywhere. But also, like, it was always really uncomfortable because in summer it's hot outside. So I'm in a sundress or shorts, short sleeves, and then you step into a building and all of a sudden you're freezing.
Yeah.
And in the winter it's the opposite. And so it was always like, okay, I guess, in summer
So you don't like being comfortable, is what it sounds like.
Well, I don't like being too cold or too hot when I'm like walking into a place.
No.
In the summer, if I'm going into a place and they're blasting the AC, it's like I need a sweater.
No, I would agree with you. The only time I carried around a sweater in Texas was the summertime.
Yeah.
Because I'd, go into a movie or something and you're going to be really cold. I would always laugh at people with like shorts and flip-flops that go into a movie theater in the summertime.
Yeah, I mean, when I worked in an office in the summertime, it was kind of a joke that people would like keep blankets at their desk and sweaters at their desk to put it on the summertime because, they would blast the AC and we would come to work in short sleeves and all of a sudden you step inside and you're freezing. So yeah, it was not great. And I do appreciate that here in Portugal, running the air conditioning or heater is on a kind of need to do basis. And so,
is that a thing, a need to do basis?
Need to do, I don't know. But it's something you only do when, you really need the AC on or need the heat on.
At the movie theaters here, it's a regular temperature. I don't know if I've even felt a fan on in there.
Yeah.
I overdress for the theater here.
Again, it may seem like a small thing, but it is definitely something that I don't miss about the US. People might disagree with me, but for me personally, that's one thing that's really nice about being here in Portugal.
The next thing on the list is the fundraising at public schools. Our daughter was in kindergarten last year at a public school, and
in the US.
In the US, and I was somewhat taken aback by how there was some fundraising event every month. It would be a week long of like physical challenges, and her daughter would have to get sponsors for that, or it might be some event at school after hours where you would buy packages of neon bracelets and other things to kind of raise money. Nights out at restaurants, so that they could give a portion of those proceeds to the school. There's always something, I would say, at least every month. And it, not to mention, we had to buy snacks and school supplies for the classroom, paper towels or something like that.
Yeah, the teacher would email in and say like, hey, I need more of this. Can anyone donate some? And, it was a fairly common thing that happened.
And our daughter is in public school now. She's first year. And the small fundraisers they've had are mostly been for individual classes, like a classroom or a class year will have a fundraiser for to raise money for one of their bigger excursions, right? But they're really providing muffins and crafts and everything else, and you just give whatever money you want, €2, €5, something like that. Popcorn, they sell popcorn, and that's happened twice, maybe, I think. Yeah, that's about it. There was one our son had a fundraiser once, but it was to raise money for a charity.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, in the beginning of the year. We got the box to put money in.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So, and certainly there are times he goes to private school that we give him money for going to the movie theater.
Yeah.
Same with our daughter. They might have a special event where they go to the cinema and they need to pay for the ticket. So we pay for the ticket.
Yeah.
But that's pretty reasonable and pretty infrequent, and we're not paying for school supplies.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, other than like the beginning of the year ones, but we're not paying for like the teacher needs more paper towels for her classroom. Right. We need to do this fundraiser so we can cover whatever expense.
Well, I think more than the expense, it was kind of tiresome. It was just always another thing.
You're always just getting emails about we're doing this now, and you said once a month. Honestly, I feel like it was probably more than that. It seemed like we got emails all the time about this stuff in the US.
Well, that was we're on the metric system here. I don't know how much long a month is. I think it's a different time period there. I may be wrong about that.
But yeah, so I think that's definitely one nice thing not to have to get so many frequent emails about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and you've made it this far. So the last one on our list of things that we don't miss about the US, at least not what we're going to talk about in this video, is bulk shopping. Now,
Oh, I used to love bulk shopping.
I know. I mean, we were
I was big fans
we
of
were
Costco.
Costco members back in the US, and it was
Not to get political.
and it was fantastic. We love Costco, but you know, we would buy our toilet paper there. We would like come home with like, you know, boxes of mac and cheese. You know, we would buy like
Boxes of boxes.
boxes of boxes. That's true. Boxes of boxes, like, you know, boxes of almond, you know, just
Everything, yeah.
we bought in bulk at Costco. And we went to the regular grocery store too, but we certainly did a fair amount of shopping at Costco and buying things in bulk. When you buy things in bulk, you also need storage space to store all that stuff that you bought in bulk. And
Do we have that now?
we do not have
No, we
storage
don't.
space now. We have a little bit of storage space, but we do not have storage space like we did in the US. We don't have a garage here. We don't have, you know, a large refrigerator and freezer. And I think, you know, while buying in bulk can be helpful, I don't miss it because then you're buying a lot of stuff at once, then figuring out how to use it and figuring out where to store it until you use it.
Or you buy it because your kids liked it once,
yeah.
and then as soon as you buy it in bulk, they stop liking it immediately. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, if you have kids, you absolutely know.
Yeah.
And so again, it's a small thing, but it was something we did frequently in the United States that I don't miss here. I like the fact that we buy things when we need them, and then we use them, and then buy them again if we need them.
I would also say, as much as we like to walk, even the supermarkets here are 1/5, 1/10 of the size of a regular grocery store that we would go to.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, that became a pain. We go in the grocery store and it takes 5 minutes to just get 2 things because you have to walk around
or
the whole
more,
store.
Yeah.
So, you know, here you can walk around the entire store in 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's really easy just to hop from section to section and get what you need.
It smells like fish the entire time.
But, you know,
it's
some
true.
Some people might like that.
A lot of the markets here smell like fish because they have fish counters.
True. But
it's Lisbon.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Fish.
We're on the coast.
On the coast, by a river and the Atlantic Ocean.
But yeah, so do not miss buying in bulk. It's much easier and nicer to just go into a grocery store and get what we need really quickly here and be in and out in 10, 15 minutes if we need.
So those are the things we don't miss about the U.S. I'm sure we'll come up with more, but honestly, we're forgetting them faster than we can remember them.
Yeah,
so
we've been here for 9 months now, and so after a year, there may be more. Well, thanks for joining us, and just a reminder, like and subscribe.
More,
and
more like, less hates.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.